Very good morning to you all. We warmly welcome you all for the second episode of For Nature Talk series in our World Environment Day program 2020. It's a great honor and pleasure for us to commemorate World Environment Day 2020 virtually, minimizing our environmental footprint. The theme for the World Environment Day 2020 is biodiversity. This program is a joint initiative of the Eco Business Management Special Degree Program attached to the Department of Tourism Management, Sabarkama University of Sri Lanka and Harris PLC. Today's topic for Nature Talk is cleaner production applications over green business. Cleaner production concept is a widely accepted tool as a sustainable strategy for many of the businesses, and this concept has yielded promising results towards achieving sustainable development. To give you more insights into this topic, we have Engineer Samantha Kumarasena with us today. Engineer Samantha Kumarasena is the Chief Executive Officer of National Cleaner Production Center. He is an experienced cleaner production auditor and an energy auditor. He is a competent lead auditor in ISO 14001 Environmental Management System, ISO 19001 Quality Management System, OHSAS 18001 Occupational Health and Safety Management System, and ISO 50001 Energy Management System. He is in the panel of Assessors for assessing certification bodies for accreditation for 14001 EMS under Sri Lanka Accreditation Board. He is a professional with more than 20 years of experience in advisory, capacity building and performance evaluation of the industries at national and international levels. He is a visiting lecturer to several universities as well as a resource person in several training institutes in Sri Lanka. There are few instructions for all the participants. Please mute your mics during the presentation, and if you have any question or if need any clarifications, please leave them in the chat box. We have a questions and answers session at the end of the program. Therefore, you will be able to raise your questions there. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the session to Engineer Samantha Kumarasena to start his presentation. It's over to you, sir.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Sabarkama University team and Haley's as well as other stakeholders of this event for inviting me to share my experience working in the field of cleaner production with National Cleaner Production Center. Today, I would like to cover in my content what are the cleaner production techniques applicable in an organization. Then, the most important part, the practical experience that we have gained through implementation of cleaner production over the decades. That is the main knowledge that one cannot gain from reading, but it is some tacit knowledge that I can share with you on behalf of my organization. Then, next thing I would like to mention, these cleaner production techniques work in different domains. Then, beyond cleaner production, because cleaner production era was 1990 to 2010 purely. After that, cleaner production is there, but we call it CP+. So many other tools are there which work over cleaner production. So that sustainable product innovation, then working on the life cycle of the product are also very important in case of going for further sustainability, greening the businesses in today's context. Then I'm going to touch upon three tools very briefly: eco design, green chemistry, and biomimicry as key tools for such as sustainable product innovation. Then cleaner production work in organizational scope within the boundaries of the organization. Then you can do some collaboration with the nearby industries, waste exchange, etc. Thereby you can further improve the resource productivity and minimization of waste. That is called industrial ecology. Then last but not least, moving ahead or moving to the strategic level from the operational level, there's a new tool to apply to change your existing business model. This is called sustainable business model innovation through eco-innovation. That is another novel tool. If time permits, I'm so happy to share with you that kind of experience as well. Basically, cleaner production, the heart of the subject is those cleaner production techniques. As you know, industrial process, we can visualize as in the process model. Then when you take the input, there's a cleaner production technique applicable to the input. That is input substitution. We always check whether we can go for less toxic, less hazardous inputs, as well as more renewable inputs. Then we see whether we can change the source of supply, change the packaging, change the mode of delivery. Thereby can we optimize our resource consumption patterns and minimize the waste. Those opportunities are exploited. Next, we look at the process. There are 4 techniques applicable to the process. 2 of them are generating low cost, no cost opportunities. Those are good housekeeping and better process controls. Then there are 2 other techniques, equipment modification and technology change. Equipment modification has some moderate cost involvement. Technology change is high cost opportunities are there under that. So then those 4 techniques are available to work with the process for the process optimization in terms of resource flows. Then we look at the product. There are ample of opportunities in our products to change the product specification, modify the product design, thereby reduce the resource consumption in manufacturing. Here, not only manufacturing, even to optimize over the supply chain. In cleaner production, we are discussing about optimizing under the process scope within the manufacturing domain. But there's a specific tool that is eco-design. There's a methodology where you can use that methodology to optimize over the entire life cycle. That is also applicable at this point. Then, when we look at those 6 techniques, those are targeting source reduction. But as you know, our limitations to the access to the technologies, then limitation of availability of technology. So we cannot go for zero waste, making 100% source reduction. Therefore, some waste is generated. Then there are 2 techniques to work on such waste. One of them is reuse, recycle, recovery technique. That is, we check whether we can fully or partially recover the waste and make use of in some other applications, on-site or off-site. Last but not least, byproducts out of the waste. That is a very promising technique today. A lot of industries even survive the main process because of the byproducts they can make using the waste. Because waste you get with free of cost. In any industrial process, as you know, more than 50% of the cost is raw material. If you can source raw material with no cost, then you can make highly profitable industry. So therefore, some industries today survive because of the byproducts they make out of the waste. Well, when you look at those 8 techniques in some literature, it has been deducted to 5 techniques. How it is done? Because good housekeeping, better process control is taken as one technique because There are some overlapping areas in these two so that you can amalgamate those two. Likewise, equipment modification and technology change also can be combined. So it is generally called technology modifications then, as well as then reuse recycle option as well as byproduct option are also can be combined to think about make use of waste in various terms. Thereby we can deduct this into 5 cleaner production techniques as well. But practically taking them as 8 techniques create much better easiness to work in these applications. Well, without taking much time, as we have limited time, let me go to a couple of examples. Actually, these are tested and proven results in cleaner production. So how it works in the field. Now, this first example is metal sector industry. They used the scrap aluminium as their part of their raw material. But this aluminium in Sri Lanka, usually the scrap collection is not that pure. So therefore, when you melt scrap, the slag is the main problem. So that 6% waste emerge as slag. Then they were using the conventional pit furnace, so that efficiency is low. Then under the cleaner production assessment conducted under one of the main project we implemented called MetaBuild, this was done. So that it was proposed to go for locally produced aluminium ingots as the input material, so that input material was changed. Then replace the pit furnace with improved fused furnace. Then the investment was 5 million. Then you can recover the investment in 7 years time. So that's how it works with the financial benefits. Now the key point I would like to mention is cleaner production bring the promotion in a different angle. Rather than talking about environmental or social benefits, we can directly talk about financial benefits, so that in any way companies would like to implement those things. Then in behind you are getting ample of environmental benefits as well as social benefits, because in a lot of cases working conditions inside the organization as well as for the community and surroundings are also improved under cleaner production implementation. The next example is from the hotel sector. This one, what is the important point here? This is a medium scale hotel. When you conduct the water audit part and then undertake the water balance, it was revealed that 14% water is unaccounted. This is a very common problem. That's why I wanted to mention about this. In one of the washing plant, we noticed sometimes back 50% unaccounted, quantifying to 500 cubic meters per day of water. So what is the reason? The reason is underground pipes are broken and leaking to the ground. This is very common. In some assessments, in one of the company I have worked in Pakistan under the assessment, so there were 40% unaccounted loss. They consume 2,500 cubic meters per day. It's a huge volume of water compared to our industry. So then, unless you conduct the water balance, you cannot catch this. So that is the important part here. It's a simple exercise that you can undertake. So doing at least the water balance, if you cannot do a complete water audit, that will help you to find out this kind of unaccounted losses and attend them. So therefore, very significant savings were achieved because it's minor repair of the underground pipes. The next example is from the healthcare sector, hospitals. This is very recently in last year, this assessment was conducted and end of the year last year. Then here the particular option I have selected is the application of low cost simple solutions like change in the inefficient assets, inefficient shower heads, as well as cisterns in the washroom in open areas. In fact, under the CP assessment, installed some water efficient facets, shower heads, as well as another simple option, water displacement devices to the cisterns of the toilets. So this option is also a very simple but very useful option. There are some displacement devices, but you can simply work with the empty PET bottle. We have enough of them in the environment. So then fill with some sand, that is the best, then close it and keep inside the cistern of the toilet, then without entangling with the flushing device. Then what happens, in every flush you can save, let's say if it is a 500 milliliter bottle, 500 milliliters saved. When we conduct a water audit in office, main consumer is the toilets, especially this cistern and common cistern. So sometimes it is about 50% of the water consumption out of the total. Assume now each and every flushing you save about 500 liters or 500 milliliters or 1 liter. Then that means significant water saving is achieved. Generally, it can be in a office environment about 5% water savings directly. So these kind of things are very common. Anybody can apply from today, day one. These are some such other options that one can implement. Basically, in a lot of other organizations, when there are thousands of workers are there, when the process water is not there, ideally I'm referring to industry like garment factory. When you look at the water consumption, hand washing in the canteen is one of the main consumer. Then those taps you can improve. Aerated taps, then the control taps. It can be automatic push button, or otherwise it can be pedal. Today, in these days, pedal operated taps has become very popular because of Corona situation. Now, this tap has the main advantage for the water efficiency side. Once you are moving away, it is getting automatically closed down. So therefore, water wastage can be minimized. Significant water savings can be done by implementing those things. Another problem in the industrial environment, most of the time, they are using pressure pumps. Water is supplied at high pressure because especially when the process water requirements are there for filling the machines, bath, you need to fill them as quickly as possible to maintain productivity so that you maintain high pressure. At the same pressure, you supply water to the domestic water usage areas as well. That creates a lot of wastage of water, so that you have to reduce the pressure and optimize it, thereby further you can reduce the water consumption. So many such practical opportunities are there. Just I am referring to the very low cost opportunities that we can use in the industrial environment to minimize the waste. That is basically simply cleaner production. Now look at this example. This is in a textile industry, kind of equipment modification. This is a continuous dyeing range for elastics. Then the company was using a long liquor ratio 1:15, and their washing range usually consume most of the water in a dyeing facility. Then this washing range, each and every compartment is fed with fresh water, so that their water consumption is high as 380 liters per kg. Then the option implemented includes equipment modification, that is going for counter current flow. I assume all the audience are aware of counter current flow. That is, you feed fresh water only to the last tank, then from the last tank through overflow, it moves to the previous tank. Then finally it comes to the first tank. Material move against the water flow. That is what it's called counter current. That improves washing efficiency drastically while reducing the water consumption. So in addition to this one, the other optimization were also done. With that, liquor ratio could be reduced to 1 to 10. So therefore, this water consumption could be reduced by 67 liters per kg. Few other benefits are there. I'll explain in another example related to this. This is also regarding process controls in the metal sector. Then this is, look at, this is also a very simple option. Investment is nil. What has been done is, in this industry, they are using iron billets, then feeding to the furnace at room temperature. Then billets are manufactured in the induction furnace. After that, after unloading, it is waiting sometimes for days for them to take it for reheating. Then reheating again start at room temperature. By the time these billets are corroded, then that contributes to the more slag or waste. Then the process change done was leaving the work in progress to process later. These billets, after unloading, before cooling down at about 200 centigrade, the temperature, it was feeding to the reheating furnace. Then there's a significant energy saving. It counts to 2 liters of fuel per ton of production. So then you can see the company could save 2 million rupees per annum without any investment. So those are improved process controls, housekeeping, which are low cost. In fact, industries in the developing countries like ours are very happy to go for this kind of options because they do not want to look for investment finance. Simply with the existing staff knowledge, they can implement such things. Only thing, when you introduce these things to the industry, you have to undertake some trials with them, show them the results, then they believe that. After that, they start operating these kind of options. This is also a similar simple one. So because of the time constraints, let me skip a couple of them. Then let me come to this one. This is another garment dyeing industry. So in this one, they were using long liquor ratios, 1 to 15 to 1 to 20 in the process. But you have so many options that are applicable here. One cleaner production technique they can operate in this situation is technology change. We have today fully automated dyeing machines, which you can operate at 1 to 5 liquor ratio. Investment on this is worthwhile because when you look at all total savings. But still, some companies have the constraint with the investment finance. They cannot change all the machines at once. So therefore, then we look at another cleaner production technique, low cost one. So then better process control can be implemented there. Thereby also you can reduce certain amount of, I mean, using the same machine, you can go for some improvements in the productivity efficiency. Now in this case, this kind of machine you can easily operate at 1 to 10 liquor ratio. So therefore, bringing some improvements in the housekeeping and process control practices, this was done. So then it helped to reduce water 27,000 cubic meters per year. But the significant thing here, we should understand, in a process like this, all the chemicals are added in grams per liter basis. That means when you reduce the water, proportionately all chemicals are also reduced. You know, so many chemicals are used in the dyeing, washing, and so many such chemical use industries. So in the process bath, when you reduce the liquor ratio, you can save quite a lot of chemicals. that save money as well as huge impact saving to the environment. Next thing about thermal energy. Because most of these baths are heated, particularly dyeing baths are heated around 100 centigrade. Washing baths are around 60 centigrade. That is all energy. So then that depends on the volume of water, as you know, simple physics. Then what happens is when you reduce this water consumption, thermal energy also reduces. Next thing, what about wastewater treatment? Because wastewater also is reduced when you reduce the water volume. Then wastewater treatment cost is also reduced. When you look at all such savings, it is worthwhile to go for one thing, good housekeeping anyway paying back, but even technology change would help. When you take the fabric dyeing industries, so we have so many technology options, low liquor ratio machines, batch-wise machines, as I mentioned, are available for knitted fabrics as well as for garments. Then continuous range dyeing processes are available, which is consuming less water and less resources. Then, in addition to that, this aerodynamic dyeing technology, which claim about 1 to 3 liquor ratio, is another good technology that is called this airflow dyeing machine is another name used there. Some industries in Sri Lanka has installed such machines. This was introduced in 2003, but so far in Sri Lanka it is not that popular. So this kind of technologies are available for us to go if you are willing to invest. Then these are also some other examples. As 30 minutes gone, I will skip couple of the examples from this end. So then I will be able to save time to explain other concepts as well. I guess you obtained, taste of cleaner production, what is happening there. Then that will be, that is on the other hand, cleaner production is a tool tested and proven for more than 2 decades in the world. So therefore, thousands of companies have implemented and found out such environmental, social, as well as financial benefits for them. So therefore, this is something very useful for the country like ours, Sri Lanka. Now let me go to some options regarding the recovery and reuse side. Now this is a pharmaceutical industry. Then here, they were using RO treatment for the wastewater, but the reject was discharged to the environment. Now the simple option given was reject to be used in toilet flushing and couple of other applications. Thereby they were able to save huge quantity of water there. Then this is another heat recovery option. This is for the heat recovery. Heat recovery is a very lucrative option because energy costs are very high. But in Sri Lanka, this energy recovery applications side is very limited in the industry. Then, for example, here, high temperature was observed in the flue gas, that is about 390 centigrade. Then they are feeding air, combustion air temperature 60 centigrade, because as you know, in industries you can recover the waste heat from the flue gas and then you can preheat input temperature, input air. That's what happened. Then they were operating with the old recuperator, so it is leaky, suited, scaled. At least they were having some heat recovery in place, but some industries even don't have, most of the industries, that kind of heat recovery technology is not in place. Then they went for a new recuperator. So heat recovery was done with the technology. Then flue gas temperature was able to reduce to 200 because more heat could be recovered. Then combustion air temperature could be doubled, increasing up to 120 centigrade. Then 600,000 is the cost for the recuperator. Then they were able to save 1.1 million rupees per year. That means payback is only 6 months. So this kind of heat recovery opportunities are available when you look at the waste recovery side of industries. This is a sheet metal industry. So in the sheet metal industry also, actually, they were feeding these metal sheets one after the other. So therefore more cuts were there. Then we plan to use them. So therefore this kind of opportunities can be obtained with different industries. When you look at the waste, you can find out different options. Now, regarding this part, let me introduce a little bit different part, that is chemicals. Chemical is the main area of attention today globally, because chemical has huge impacts as well. So therefore, in addition to the existing cleaner production techniques, we particularly work with chemical management using various other tools and techniques. Then, for more than 15 years, we have been working with the industry to improve the chemicals management. So first of all, if you look at these pictures, some basic changes that are brought, housekeeping like. So basically, these chemical carrying containers can be improved. You can go for a color code there. Then as well as the next picture show you that proper labeling, because with the symbols and all that. In the world today, world is moving to the GHS, globally harmonized system of classification and labeling of chemicals. So we also help industries to implement those things. That's a very important area, so that a lot of chemical safety issues can be avoided by going for this kind of labeling. As you know, not only the workers, even in accident, all the firefighters coming in should be able to properly recognize the chemicals. A lot of accidents has happened because they were using wrong firefighting substance or a certain chemical without identifying the chemical. So therefore, labeling has so many benefits. In addition to that, compatibility has to be considered in storage. Those things are also has been improved in the companies. We have worked with various chemical using companies, paint sector, textile sector, like that. Then by improving the chemical handling, storage, usage, as well as chemical waste disposal areas, a lot of improvements has been brought there. How can we do that? That's the important part. For that matter, we have some more toolkits. You can download all these from the websites, so free of charge. IAMC toolkit is introduced by UNITA. Then UNIDO has developed this IOMC toolkit, which is a simplified version of it. We have been implementing those things for a long time. By the time for you to get knowledge, I would like to mention there's the chemical management e-learning training program in our NCPC website. It's totally free of charge. You can follow it. You can get a certificate as well. Then, particularly for the students, that will be a very important one, very useful one. Then you will get most of the knowledge under IOC toolkit with the application example. Likewise, chemical leasing is a very important tool. Some companies in Sri Lanka won some awards because this has been implemented for more than 10 years now in Sri Lanka. As well as responsible production toolkit. Those are, NCPC has worked with the industries for more than 10 years, implemented those tools and improved the performance in the industries. All success stories can be shared with the people in the country who are interested. Then those things will be very useful for you to learn and implement. That will bring a lot of benefits for you. Then However, let me tell you one important point. These techniques, knowledge, everything is available for you to read. You can learn. Next, then you can learn from some others' experience by listening to them or by working with them. However, you have to be wise enough to select the right tool at the right application. When you take this particular point, one thing, cleaner production is also only one tool. So many other tools are there. Proactive environmental management tools. Those are also working for different domain, different applications. So then we should be wise enough to select the right tool. Even when we come to the cleaner production, those 8 techniques we have to use as appropriate. For example, when you take our industries, we can divide them into 4 quadrants depending on their technology level. Then there are some companies very primitive in operations. They don't have any data, any quantification, just to work on day-to-day targets. Such companies would like to implement only process control and good housekeeping. No point for them to work with, introducing technology change, etc. They don't have capacity at the point to go for that. So therefore, you have to introduce to them practically possible good housekeeping, better process control opportunities as much as possible. Then there's another set of industries we can identify. So many in our country, they are very good in housekeeping. For US implemented, they have won the awards, everything is in place, but problem is their technology is outdated. 30, 40 years old machines are there. Then for them, cleaner production would be going for appropriate technology, little by little. We have some companies who has done so after involving in cleaner production. The next level is there are companies running with appropriate technology. What can they do under cleaner production? They have to move for clean technologies. What are the clean technologies? Clean means more environmental friendly, more green technologies, as we named in the topic, which are causing for green business. Then, for example, if you have a state-of-the-art boiler, still you can go for a biomass-operated boiler with proper scrubber system and all that. Then, wastewater can go for RO technology. Then you can recover and use some water, about 75% will be back in the process there. Then we have today improved process technologies. I mentioned about ultra-low liquor ratio machines. Then this kind of novel technologies are also recognized as clean, eco-friendly technologies. So company can move there. Then what is the 4th quadrant? The companies who are equipped with even clean technologies. Do they have any purpose with cleaner production? Of course, yes. What? Because such companies, they maintain the technology leadership in the sector because they are equipped with the most modern technologies in the processing. Then what can they do? All these companies have their own in-house R&D. For what purpose? Because those companies always launch new products. Then they can maintain better margins through that, because taking the advantage of the best technology available, they launch novel products all the time. Therefore, they have in-house R&D. You have to consider cleaner production implementation in your R&D and innovation. What can you do there? Your product, you can make your product in such a way that the product not only in manufacturing, in use phase, in disposal phase, everywhere is environmentally friendly. That can be done by addressing at the design stage. So therefore, cleaner production inputs will be very useful at that point, so that your products can be marketed as eco-friendly green products. Thereby you can improve the business sustainability as well as environmental performance can be improved there. That's how we have to work with cleaner production in different technology domains. Now, I mentioned about the new product innovation. So then when you go for novel product innovation today, to turn them into more environmental friendly products, we are using couple of tools designed for sustainability. Green chemistry, green engineering, and biomimicry are such important tools. We have done some projects, activities under those areas with the industries. This is not the time to share all these things because we have limited time. So, but it's important thing that with our actually cases, because tested and proven cases are very important to go ahead. So then we can move in these areas because that will bring some significant improvements over the, because these tools when you use in the product design, that help to optimize not only in the manufacturing phase but over the life cycle. So therefore, generally as a thumb rule, your savings will be threefold. So therefore, moving to these things are also very important today. Then further going beyond the boundary of the organization, as we know, we can do so many things to optimize your performance within the boundaries, but some waste will remain. You cannot recycle, reuse on site. You can't minimize also for any further, but ample of opportunities are there to make use of in somewhere else. We have a lot of experience in that sense. So we have come across this kind of situations in Sri Lanka as well. Now, the solution, as you know, this industrial ecosystem idea. So the Robert and Nicholas published this in 1989. So they argue, why can't this industry system work as a natural ecosystem, work like a natural ecosystem? That means, so waste of one industry can be the resource for the other industry. So then thereby you can minimize what is going out of the system. Further, this waste exchange is only one option. Further, you can understand so many other sharing opportunities are there. A lot of synergies can be exploited with this kind of collaborations. So it can be converted into a more integrated industry model. That is the industrial ecosystem. So therefore, application of this concept is taken place in the eco-industrial park. So then the world first eco-industrial park is this Danish industrial park in Kalundmark in Denmark. This was started in 1959 as a typical industrial state, but gradually they started going for some waste exchange activities. There is a power plant in the middle of the state. Then that power plant started giving away their, let's say, hot water rising from the cooling water, then their fly ash to the other companies who can use them. Not in free, but they were selling it. So therefore, this exchange was started not for environmental purpose, but for economic purpose. Then over the time, it was grown. More than 150 such waste exchange activities were taken place within the industrial zone. So then, zonal management understood the benefit. They identified some more waste that are created where there are no users. Then they used to bring some investors to set up industries who can use such waste. Thereby, this was emerged as the world first eco-industrial park. Today, a lot of countries have eco-industrial park in their actually in place, So those are that area is improving quite a lot because a lot of benefits are there with the system approach. There are 4 types of eco-industrial parks. I'm not going to take time to elaborate on. Let me come to this point now. We in 2015-16 period, with the support of UNEP and actually this particular organization in United Kingdom called International Synergies Limited, they were the resource persons. We conducted some workshops. Central Environment Authority also supported in this activity. So then our intention was to see the potential. In fact, we conducted one workshop, second workshop with 50 industries were there in the workshop. Then we had a exercise to identify their wastes available, and then looking at the matchmaking opportunities with the possible users. Then we were able to identify 238 such opportunities among 50 industries. So that shows you the potential. So far in Sri Lanka, no any eco-industrial park in existence, but this application is possible even without eco-industrial park in between industries. So, setting up industrial park, one organization or one investor cannot do that. It should be happen with the support of the government. So, but this synergies can be exploited if 2 parties are in agreement. Then you can share the waste in that way. So there are some already existing such waste exchange activities among industries, which are very, very useful to the environment today. Such exchanges in some companies. Then, in my last point, I would like to bring you another novel tool in this direction. So, all the proactive environmental management tools we are dealing with, I mentioned only very few of them, so many other things are there. Those are working at the operational level in the organization. So therefore, changes brought to the process are limited, and most of them are working in the particular industry scope. But during the period of 2000-2010 in Europe, a lot of companies, leading companies, went for a new approach. The new approach is now they started working with their supply chain, upstream or downstream. Then they were going for some new collaborations. Thereby, they changed their business strategy and subsequently the business model, therefore. So therefore, when you change this thing, they were considering all the aspects in the sustainability, environmental benefits, financial benefits, and social benefits. So then it was able to successfully transform their existing business model to a more sustainable business model. This approach was named as eco-innovation. It is not a product innovation, but it is about business model innovation. Then, after 2010, actually, United Nations Environment Program understood the huge benefit that a company can gain through this eco-innovation. So therefore, they wanted to introduce this concept to the developing countries so that they developed toolkit, then they implemented some pilot projects in the world. In Sri Lanka also, we implemented those pilot projects in the first round itself in the agri-food sector. So therefore, thereby existing industries, the current business model is analyzed. Then we have to develop possible novel business strategies for the company, working on the supply chain. Then those new business models has to be implemented gradually in the company to transform the company into more sustainable business model. Again, if you can save 10% with cleaner production, you can save 30% with eco-innovation. So that's the beauty of the tool. So this compendium can be downloaded from website. This includes some earlier cases in mainly European companies as examples for eco-innovation. Then this is the toolkit for the eco-innovation. This is also freely downloadable. So you can download this and learn it and implement. Then we from NCPC are there. We have been trained a lot of people on this so far, as well as we are there to support with if you have any problems in using them. Then before ending my eco-innovation topic, let me take one company just to because without practical applications, no point just talking theory. So this company is one of the agri-food industry that we went for eco-innovation. So this company conventional business model was this. They were producing desiccated coconut. They were sourcing coconut from the field. Then they process coconut into desiccated coconut with the conventional production process. Then they sell them, export them through the brokers. That is their business model. When you look at the economics in the process, they were actually struggling to survive their business basically more than the environment. Then, so with all analysis and then new strategy development, discussions with the company, so we were able to embark on a novel business model. So then while having their desiccated coconut partially, they had a product diversification as well, because it was understood that virgin coconut oil is a much better option in the export market. So that virgin coconut oil was developed. From the supplier side, they started going for certified coconut in the case of actually organically certified coconut. Then virgin coconut oil also they were able to sell it as organic product. Then through the to the downstream of the supply chain also, they managed to win some direct direct importers. Then they were able to directly export their products. Thereby, they were able to stabilize the market as well as they were able to get better margins. So therefore, this is the basic change in the business system. In addition to that, so many other things were able to add on this. For example, coconut water in the coconut mills was a huge problem for a long time because it is not easily treatable as a wastewater. Then a lot of environmental problem is there, but it is a valuable resource. We were preaching for a long time about recovering coconut water and making some byproducts. Now this industry started, actually they were not able to set up a plant, but they were able to pass this coconut water to another plant who has already set up a facility to make some drinks out of coconut water. Then in addition to that, even in the factory, energy efficiency options, those are also implemented. Those are at the operational level, but at business level, entire business strategy took some changes. Now this happens on our ground in Sri Lanka. So therefore, eco-innovation, so many examples are available globally. So you can build up confidence, and then there are people who can further guide you. So that it's a very important idea to make your business green using this existing wealth of knowledge. Before ending up, this is actually, as you know, this Europe adopted circular economy declaration in 2015. The target is resource circulation because globally only 9% of the resources are circulated by now. Europe want to go for resource circulation up to 80%. But because for the future, most scarce resource is not water or energy, but the material. So therefore, material recovery is very important. For that matter, these 8R principles are used. Then, in fact, in circular economy, main part is circular economy business models. So then lot of novel businesses, startups are coming up based on circular economy applications. So then those are mainly based on these 8R principles. Okay. So refuse, reduce, reuse, then refurbish, repair your products, then remanufacturing, then redistribute or regift and recover, then recycling. So these 8 techniques can be used for novel business model innovation. Refuse, in fact, it's clear to you. Reduce already we are discussing. Reuse, known to you. What is refurbish, repair? Because currently most of your products, when those are broken, it's the habit that you throw it away and go for a new product. But developed countries today in their market, you have a lot of refurbished products, repaired products, laptops, everything. Even your shoes, you can do this. So many products, people are happy to go for refurbishing, repairing. That is actually when the product is broken before the end of the lifetime, you can attend it and then make use of it. That is what refurbish, repair. Remanufacturing, going beyond that, that means your product or your machine, when the lifetime is over, what do you do with that? Without throwing away the machine, even motors, then those printing machines, those things, you can remanufacture them. That means worn out components are replaced with new components, give a new life to the product. Thereby, about 80-90% resources going for the product can be saved. It's a very, because new companies has come up in Europe who are providing remanufacturing services to your machines, products, etc. Those are the new businesses under this area. Then redistribute. Today, a lot of industries are there, businesses are there. Let's say hiring the cloth can be done in Europe. So this kind of businesses, then system approach is used. Redistribute the products among the people using different business models. Recover, recycle, already known to you because under 3R system, we have been discussing those things for a long time. So therefore, these 8R principles also can be based on business model innovation for going for green businesses. So with that, let me conclude my presentation. Thank you very much, the time given for me to share our knowledge and experience with the elegant audience. So I'm very happy to interact with you for your questions, as well as continuously support with our whatever the knowledge that we gain through this experience. Thank you very much.
Now it's time to questions and answers session. If you have any questions, please ask or leave them in the chat box.
Thank you very much, sir. It's Chandimal here. So I have a question, how we can incorporate these cleaner production approaches in the service sector organizations?
It's a very important question. In fact, cleaner production work on saving water, energy, materials, simply. So therefore, mainly service sector organizations who are using water, energy, material have an ample of opportunity to benefit from cleaner production. So ideally, the hotel sector or even other hospitality sector industries. In addition to that, even in office, we can do that. When we come to the office, we have another tailor-made version of cleaner production. We call it eco-office audit. So because basic material balance, those things are not necessary in office environment. So therefore, it's a simplified version. We have worked with a lot of office with this tool. Then With that, we can identify opportunities where you can reduce energy water mainly, because those are main utilities in office environment or service sector organization. Then, in addition to that, various consumables, other materials, those are also attended, then those can be saved. So therefore, basically, so industries where large water energy material flows are there, like hotel sector, has very significant benefits. But even in other service organizations where such huge resource flows are not in existence, the still available resource flows can be optimized quite a lot. So I mentioned about water saving possibilities. So likewise, energy also. Uh, for my actually with our experience, Mr. Chandimal, now typically when we conduct a water audit in office, 10% unaccounted loss is there. 10%. So unaccounted means in addition to the identified losses, these are not seen, invisible. So then you can address those things with the cleaner production. When you do the water balance, like material balance, you can capture those things, then you can address those things. Huge opportunities are there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
සර් මම රජරට විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයෙන් කතා කරන්නේ. සර් මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ ක්ලීනර් ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් ඇසෙස්මන්ට් එකක් මේ ස්ටාර් රේටඩ් හොටෙල් සෙක්ටර් එකේ කරන්න. එතකොට සර් මම මොන ක්‍රමවේදයද ඒ සඳහා පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ නැත් ඒක දැනගන්න කැමතියි.
හොඳයි. අද මගේ ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකේ මම ටෙක්නික්ස් වලින් පටන් අරන් ගියේ. මොකද අපිට තිබුණේ මේ clean production applications one වලට. මේකේ මේ අපේ එතකොට දැන් clean production implement කරන methodology එක වෙනම තියෙනවා. ඒක UNIDO එකෙන් develop කළ UNIDO clean production assessment methodology 6 steps methodology එක. එතකොට මේ methodology එක තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ. මනෝරි දැනට මේ clean production study කළා නැත්නම් අපි පහුගිය 5 වෙනිදා environment day එකට launch කළා තව මේ e-learning course එකක් clean production ගැන. ඒක අපේ website එකෙන් access ගන්න පුළුවන්. මගේම presentation එකක් තියෙනවා clean production methodology. ඒකේ ඒ presentation එකෙන් ඕනනම් ඒක අදම අහන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකෙන් අදහසක් ගත්තා ඊට පස්සේ literature materials තියෙනවා study කරගන්න පුළුවන්. විශේෂයෙන් කතා කරන දෙයක් තමයි අපි clean production වල අර prerequisites පහක් තියෙනවා. අනිවාර්යෙන් අර පෙර අවශ්‍යතා පහක් අපි අනුගමනය කරන්න ඕනි. නැත්නම් අපි මේ කොච්චර මෙහෙම කතා කළාට ගොඩක් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රීස් වල clean production පටන් ගන්නවා. assessment එකවත් ඉවර කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. සමහරව assessment ඉවර කරනවා, හොඳ report එකක් හදනවා. හැබැයි implementation නැහැ. ඇයි එහෙම වෙන්නේ? ඒක වළක්වන්න ක්‍රම දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි මේ පෙර අවශ්‍යතා ටික මුලින් සැලකිලිමත් වෙන එක. ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් එක තමයි මේකේ 6 වෙනි පියවරේ තියෙනවා අවසන් පියවරේ sustaining clean production. ඒ යටතේ මේක පවත්වා ගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක බලන එක. එතකොට මේ පෙර අවශ්‍යතා ටික මේ assessment එක සම්පූර්ණ කරගන්න අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ඒ යටතේ එකක් තමයි මේ organized approach එකකට යන්න කියන එක පහින් එකක්. organized approach කිව්වේ මේ අපි දැන් මේ කතා කරන මේ 6 steps methodology එක හරියට follow කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. එතකොට ඒ අනුව ඒක හොඳ අදහසක්. ඇත්තටම පටන් ගන්න කලින් මේ methodology එක හරියට study කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි අපි ඒ අනුව මේක සාර්ථකව කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්තම් යම් ගැටලු මතුවෙනවා.
Thank you sir. එතකොට sir අපිට ඒක තනියම කරන්න පුළුවන්ද නැත්නම් ආයතනයත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙලා කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ sir මේ මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ හෝටල් ආශ්‍රයෙන් කරන්න.
ඔව් තනියම කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. එතෙන්දී Tamanට මොනවා හරි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා නම් දැන් අපේ ආයතනයට කතා කරලා මේ ඕනි වෙලාවක ඒ ගැන දැනුම ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්නයක් මේ තියෙනවා නම් ඒක निराකරණය කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ ඒ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. ඒක ඇත්තටම තනියෙන් කරන එක කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ඊට අමතරව ඉතින් Tamanට ඕන නම් මේක systematically study කරන්න අපිට training course එකක් follow කරගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ standard cleaner production consultant training courses තියෙනවා. තව courses කෙටි short courses තියෙනවා. දැන් මම කිව්වේ e-learning එක තියෙනවා. ඕනි වෙලාවක ඒ දෙයක් follow කරගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ මගින් Taman දැනුම ලබාගෙන කරගෙන යනකොට පළවෙනි assessment එකේදී අනිවාර්යෙන් ගැටලු මතුවෙනවා. එතකොට අර අපි project වල supervisor කෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ වගේ ඉතින් මේ ආයතනෙන් අවශ්‍ය කරන දැනුම ලබාගෙන ඒක අවසන් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ගැටලුවක් නැහැ ගැන.
හරි සර්, thank you sir.
So there is another question by Linton Fernando. He
Yeah.
has asked that the applicability of this clean production in the food waste. So I would like to generalize that question. How we can incorporate this clean production into the household level?
Okay. A good question. Mr. Linton is a quite experienced resource person actually. We have interacted earlier. And it's very practical, that question. Actually, there has been focus globally regarding working on food waste because it's a very important point. Now, food waste we cannot control in some organizations. When we work with cleaner production with the hotels, we recognize, as you know, the food habits in the hotel for the guests. Hotel is not in a position to control how they get served, and therefore there are some problems. In addition to that, another sector we observed is the hospitals, because patients are getting food from the hospital. Then people who are coming to visit them also bring the food. Still, patient cannot consume food. So therefore, more food waste is there in the hospital. So then, actually, when working with them, there are some experience with us as well as some global experiences there. So source reduction is one of the very important target there, because food means, you have worked quite a lot on that. So a lot of effort, a lot of money has gone there. So it's very valuable product that you are wasting ultimately. So therefore, through awareness also, we can significantly reduce food waste. Now, for example, now I was referring to most difficult sectors, hospitals and hotels, because outsiders are consuming food. So that is the issue. But when it comes to industry, for example, industries, there are a lot of opportunities because same workers are served with the food. So through awareness. Now, for example, in one of the apparel industry, more than 1,000 workers were there. When we start CP assessment, there are food waste. Actually, that is one exercise we undertake every day. Food waste is weighed. More than 200 kilograms of food waste comes out per day. Then we conducted some awareness programs to the workers, how food is important, and as you know, we have to include a lot of sensitization there for the people. Then in 2 weeks time, it came down to 20-40 kilogram range from 280 range. So therefore, this was a significant reduction just through awareness to the people. Some technical solutions are also there. Actually, various solutions has been implemented afterwards. Now, some companies only less than 1,000 kilogram, less than 1 kilogram of food waste is there after the lunch break. So up to that level, it was able to reduce, because when you have, let's say, confined group to make aware, other areas actually still awareness is possible. So many things are there that in addition to that we can undertake to reduce the food waste there. Let's say we have to look at all aspects. Basically, even we have to look at the food quality, food requirements, like that. Then, because sometimes actually food waste arising because of the poor food quality, like that. So in cleaner production methodology, then before coming to the CP techniques, we undertake this waste cause analysis. What are the causes? Those are different from organization to organization. So So that's why one of the important thing in cleaner production, solutions are not ready-made solutions. So those are created within organization based on the causes for the waste. So still those are not rocket science, very, very common sense. So with that, there are examples on the ground that it has been drastically reduced. Still, when some food waste is there, in case, because in hospitals or hotels, you cannot reduce after a certain level, then biogas generation is one of the solutions we have recommended for them with the food waste. Maybe we can discuss those things later, further details, I think, about our further application possibilities.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Samantha, for the
thank you, Mr. Linton. Yeah.
Full contributions. May I share one of my experiences regarding food waste? Only a few. One, is it okay?
For me, it is okay.
No, actually, because I was working on a small project on food waste. That's why I just asked about it. Now, for example, when I was in Taiwan about 1.5 years back, we were taken to a restaurant where they serve food like, as a buffet. And then there was another very nice kind of a board, nicely board, and a very prominent plate. This food is all yours. There was I think about $50 per person or something like that. You can eat anything you want. You can take anything you want. But if you have left of anything, you will be charged $20 for every 100 grams. That by that way, we of course checked with them why did they put that. As you said, there were a lot of waste earlier. Now, after that, they have reduced the food waste by more than 95%. They take only what they want to eat, and they eat only that.
Yeah.
That's just want to share about it. That's very really important. What you said is, as he suggested, common thing like food waste at household level. More awareness is required, I think, as you said. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Linton, for joining today. Yeah. Are there any more questions, Mr. Chandimal? Chat shows about 11 points. Can one of you from your side raise those questions for me? 12 comments now.
Sir, since there are no any direct questions, we'll stop it, and we will be forwarding the questions to user later on, so that we will be able to give their feedbacks.
Okay.
So now you can take over for the conclusion remarks.
I think you all had a wonderful learning session with Engineer Samantha Kumarasena. Therefore, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Engineer Samantha Kumarasena, on behalf of Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. Are invited for our third For Nature talk tomorrow on Biodiversity Journey of Hales, delivered by Dr. Roshan Rajduraj. Thank you very much for your participation and stay tuned for more program updates. Have a nice day. Thank you.